Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Hearthstone deck spotlight. My name is Tommy Wave, and today we'll be taking a look at Dekkster's Burn Shaman, Legend Burn Shaman. This deck comes to us over on Hearthstone, courtesy of Vimairel. So thanks to them. Sorry for absolutely gutting your name. Thanks to them for uploading this deck, because it is a sweet one. We love playing sweet decks, and we particularly like playing decks that are, kind of new archetypes. We've seen decks like this before, Shaman decks that have a very aggressive start, and rather than you look at Odd Paladin, which has a lot of grindy elements to stay in the game, or you look at a deck like Odd Hunter, where it relies on doing a lot of damage and then using the hero power to close the game out. I think this Burn Shaman looks similar to like those Odd Hunter lists, except instead of your hero power, we've got cards like Lava Burst. We've got cards like Lightning Bolt, which can deal direct damage to our opponent. We can combine those with Electra Storm Surge to deal 10 or 6 respectively. The other thing that we've got in the deck that I really like, going a bit old school, is Doomhammer Rockbiter Weapon. Doomhammer on its own is going to deal 16 damage over the course of 4 turns. We combine that with Rockbiter Weapon, and it's just hammering away at our opponent. So I think that's the best way to look at this kind of deck, where we are going to be trying to control the board, do a lot of face damage. Hopefully get our opponent to single digits, 10, maybe even 15. We could probably close the game out from, and then we're going to use our burn to kill our opponent. We'll go through some of the individual card selections. So we've got Zap for some early board control. Like I said, we're trying to do a lot of face damage with our creatures, with our minions. So having Zap makes perfect sense, as we can use this to clear out the board and keep doing that damage at the cost of some of overloading ourselves. But with such a low curve deck, look at this. Tasty curves. Ooh, that hourglass. Not hourglass, it's a thing. Look at those tasty curves. Nonetheless, we're really going to be able to still deploy threats afterwards. Singleton Earthshock, fantastic for all of these big taunts out there, or anything like that. A lot of these Death Rattle decks. 2 Fireflies, a Glacial Shard, making up the bulk of our 1-drops, our proactive 1-drops. Interesting they didn't go for the second Glacial Shard, considering some of the other elemental synergies we have going on. 2 Lightning Bolts we mentioned before, and the 2 Voltaic Bursts. Obviously not the greatest card to be playing on turn 1, but a fantastic card to combine with Unbound Elemental and Thunderhead, and really get the right trades for your board, and also great against Odd Paladin. Moving to the 2s, we've got Earthen Might, great follow-up when we've got a turn 1 Firefly. Buff that Firefly to just an unreasonable size for a 1-drop, and also get a little bit more advantage. I think this deck really wants to hit that little bit more advantage, keep being able to deploy minions up to turn 5, or as long as it can, before it has to start unloading the burn to the face. So I really like Earthen Might, really like Elementary Reaction as well. For the same reason, just a little bit more grindy. Hopefully these cards don't glut up our hand and we miss a 2-drop. We really don't want to be playing the Elementary Reaction on turn 2. We'd rather be getting something onto the board, getting this Flame Tongue Totem onto the board, getting this Menacing Nimbus onto the board, developing that way. We've got the Rockbiter Weapon we talked about before, Storm Surge, Lava Burst, Unbound Elemental, and Thunderhead rather. Really synergize with a lot of the overload that's in this deck, which is fantastic. I think Unbound Elemental might also just be... our opponent might underestimate this card. As soon as you get 1 overload off, 5 toughness, that's pretty hard to kill. So, great. The other card we're looking to see how it is Cult Master. We could be playing cards like Mana Tide Totem, Farsight. There's plenty of options for card draw in Shaman, and Cult Master is a bit of a curious one. I like the synergies that it has with Voltaic Burst. I love the synergies it has with Thunderhead as well. But just the singleton here, so I'm really curious. I'm a big fan of Cult Master. I've played a lot in Token Druid in the past, very low to the ground Token Druid. It feels like a similar situation here. So hopefully Cult Master is going to help us stay in the game, draw a bunch of cards, hit that burn, hit those combos, those Rockbiter Doomhammers, those Lava Burst Electras, and let us close the game out. And we've got Thunderhead and Doomhammer here. Thunderhead in particular, I love in this deck, especially with Zap. I think Thunderhead Zap and Thunderhead Voltaic Burst, one of my favorite combos right now. Just hasn't seen a good place in the meta for a while. But big shout out to, like I said, Vimerel for sharing the deck. This is Dekkster's Legend Burn Shaman. We're going to jump into some games. Hopefully we do well. But if we don't do well, at least we're going to get those good learns, and you're going to learn something as well. So let's go. Okay, we're here with Dekkster's Burn Shaman. Unfortunately, a bit of a rough opener here. I think we will keep the Voltaic Burst. Do we though? This is something that I would really love to have watched a bunch of games played with this beforehand, because or have like a mulligan guide or something like that, or talk to Dekkster themselves, because this is a really, really tough one. If you're watching on YouTube, let me know in the comments, would you have kept this Voltaic Burst, or do you think, like I'm going to do now, we should be mulliganing more aggressively for those Fireflies, those Glacial Shards? And against Druid as well, where, you know, the 1/1 body is not exactly the greatest. Interesting hand here. I think we'll deploy the Menacing Nimbus next turn rather than the Elementary Reaction. Get another body out there.
The calm before the storm.
Storm Chaser. Doesn't get us anything. Just a kind of mediocre body. Very interesting that this deck doesn't have a Bloodlust in it, or two. I think that's a card that is often, you know, if we talk about aggressive Shaman decks, that Bloodlust is kind of one of the first cards that people think of. Alright, we'll take our Elementary Reaction here. Ooh, tasty. Ooh, a Thunderhead, yes please. I don't know how good this is going to be against Druid, but yeah, turn 4, turn 5, we got a plan. The earliest tournament ever recorded on film, so earliest Magic tournament ever recorded on film, the finals came down to a Mirror of Burn, where one guy was real salty because the other guy copied his deck. Oh my gosh. A tournament Brian David Marshall ran. Interesting. Finals came down to a Burn Mirror. I mean, at least, like, I think most, unfortunately that situation, one guy's salty, but I think most of the time when I see Burn Mirrors in Magic tournaments, people are having a blast. They just accept that, like, yep, this is going to be, you know, if we talk about StarCraft, you know, Zerg versus Zerg is called, you know, a knife fight in a phone booth. I think Burn is often like that as well. It's just like two people just throwing as many cards at their opponent as possible. It's like the wrong chew animation where they're just like throwing cards, and people are just really into it. And it usually comes down to like, well, flip the top card of your deck, see if it kills me. Oh, is this a Naturalize? We got the Rockbiter Doomhammer combo. Branching Paths, Armor maybe? Draw Armor? Draw is going to be very aggressive. Draw. So this may be combo, some kind of combo Druid, and they're trying to find as much as they can. What do we want to do here? I think we'll save our Doomhammer Rockbiter for a turn where we can deploy both of them. I think this Unbound Elemental Flame Tongue.
Take shelter.
Knife fight in a phone booth. Yeah, that's what Zerg vs Zerg is. And if you watch StarCraft 1 games of Zerg vs Zerg, they're actually just, oh, I love it. And it might be because Zerg is my favorite race, but I think it's swipe. Follow-up? No follow-up. Okay. So maybe we go Thunderhead Menacing Nimbus here. Where does the Thunderhead summon the sparks? To the right or one each side?
Take shelter! The calm before the storm. Shall we make a storm?
Haven't played with Thunderhead enough to remember where the sparks go. Sweet essence. Each side? Okay. So we can bash with this Thunderhead, then play our Doomhammer, and we'll get some Sparky boys. Then we can Rockbiter, so the Rockbiter Doomhammer takes out 2, this takes out a 3rd. One of the sparks and this take out a 4th.
Thunderstruck!
Yeah, Thunderstruck!
Take shelter!
What am I going to do here?
Take shelter!
Elements guide me. Elements guide me.
Take shelter!
Just try and keep our board, I guess, nice and condensed as well. So if our opponent has a follow-up Spreading Plague, we don't get completely wrecked. But yes, thank you Nord for letting me know that the Thunderhead was each side. But this is a good situation. We've got our Lava Burst. We've got a board that's, our opponent has to basically have very specific answers to. This not exactly being one of them. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, and the rest. Galaxy Brain positioning. No, I'm sure there was better positioning for that. We did the best that we could, but there's a lightning bolt too.
Elements guide me.
Nice. Burn Shaman, everyone. Very interesting. GG's.
Boomhammer.
Okay, up here against the mage. Now we have been seeing a fair bit of Murloc mage. I don't think that means we want to keep Lightning Bolt though. Maybe it does. I think we'd rather see like Zap and Earth Shock, Voltaic Burst. I think we'll just hedge on the Menacing Nimbus. Oh my gosh, Unsleeved Lotuses. Oh. Great hand. But let's see what our opponent's up to. I don't think anyone has really settled on what the mage deck of choice is. I'm still of the belief that if you want to be laddering, you should probably be on Big Spell. But I'm clearly wrong, as most of the mages we've been fighting against have been either like tempo, like old tempo, or Murloc. So we have options here. We could go like Flame Tongue, Coin, Flame Elemental trade. We could just go Lightning Bolt, Flame Elemental. We could Rock Biter and do nothing else. We could Rock Biter, Coin, Flame Elemental. I think this turn, especially given the low cost nature of our hand, we're just going to Lightning Bolt, deploy this Flame Elemental, and next turn look to potentially get this Flame Tongue Totem out there.
We have many secrets.
Kirin Tor. So let's coin to see what's up. Okay, so it's explosive. So do we want to Glacial Shard, freeze this, Flame Tongue face.
I shall meet you.
Okay. So this buys us a little bit of time. We can get some extra face damage in here. And then next turn we still can just go for like Rock Biter or something like that to take this out and not lose our board. Ooh, Cinderstorm. This could be bad. Could have been worse, for sure. Now what are we doing? Maybe Nimbus Rockbiter weapon?
The calm before the storm.
That's great. That's just great. That's really good.
Elements guide me.
Trade here. Should have put the Nimbus on the other side in case we want to hero power next turn. So something to keep in mind when you play any Shaman deck that has Flame Tongue Totem. Positioning is really important, but even the best of us mess it up, and I'm certainly not the best of us. But I've got a great draw here, great grindy draw. But having to use these arcane missiles, having to glyph for arcane missiles, is not great. Especially we've got servants. Is this game gonna go this long? I mean, it might. We are getting pretty low, and our opponent has played 0 fireballs.
Lightning can strike twice.
I think I'm going to go for the Flame Tongue here. Just put our opponent on a faster clock.
An incredible discovery.
Okay, so it's all counter spells from here on out. No arcane missiles. 2 on the face. Surely, with this board, it's now on our opponent to kill us this turn. Because we can go 6/6 Alakir. Oh no, kill the Flame Tongue. No, kill the Cult Master. It doesn't want us to draw. 6 plus 10 puts our opponent to 1. Alright. 1 mana off Pyroblast mana as well, so I think we should be good on this. Nice. Nice. That was a dicey one though. Our opponent had to make some interesting choices. I would have loved to see that game from their point of view. But GG.
Before King Rastakhan.
Alright. We stand before the king. So it is a Shaman Mirror. I don't think we want any of this action. Does feel like Shutterwalk could be a pretty bad matchup for us, given they have given they play Healing Rains. Elemental Shaman could be pretty bad as well. Deck often runs Healing Rains. Even Shaman? Well, that's a different question. Ugh, no 1-drop though, especially with these elementary reactions and Earthen Mites. So I think our chance at beating Shutterwalk and the likes is definitely going under them, putting on a lot of early pressure. You know, those Firefly Earthen Might draws. Opponent's got coin something.
The calm before the storm.
Maybe the mirror? Oh. We're not having fun here, friends. Not having fun here. Piazza with the tree command. Just a reminder, of course, we do have the soundboard ready to go. If you've got some bits that you want to throw my way, our opponent's showing us exactly what's up. Exactly how you gotta draw it up. This is good. If we hit spell power, now we can Earth Shock. I think we will. Did our opponent not... No. Okay. No, did they not attack last turn? No, they did. They attacked our spell power. Okay. We're on the ball today. Is Foster's any good? I've never... Oh, jeez. It might have actually been the first beer I ever had. My dad might have been like, here, son. There you go. Now it's working.
Job's done.
I mean, I'm sure it's just like any other like mass-produced kind of whatever beer. Everyone I talk to says it tastes like garbage. So, like, we don't drink it, we just export it or something like that. But
Shall we make a storm?
had to grant access. Oh, okay. Okay. How are we dealing with this? We can like Earthen Might, Voltaic Burst, Elementary Reaction this turn. This opens us up to getting lightning bolted, but this Menacing Nimbus hasn't really cost us anything. You know, it replaced itself. Both the Earthen Mights replaced themselves. Double Thunderhead. Opponent having to elementary reaction on the back foot. Tar Creep. Okay, different deck, but seems very, very similar. So I think we'll go Thunderhead. Or do we get some draws with Cult Master? I don't think we do. Maybe we just go Thunderhead Lightning Bolt.
Shall we make a storm?
Shall we make a storm? Make sure we hit it with just with one of the rush sparks. We got a board. We got a board that can get volcanoed, but who knows? I guess we're assuming our opponent isn't running Volcano. But we could be wrong. Could be like the ooh, tasty. We can just go Flame Tongue Cult Master.
What to do?
Join or Thunderstruck!
Yeah, Thunderstruck. Bit of Akadaka. But yeah, Foster's, I think that was the first beer I was ever given. When I was like probably 14 or 15 or something like that. Ooh, elementary reaction on the fire elemental. So we can go Doomhammer, Rockbiter, and our opponent's dead, right?
Elements guide me. Elements guide me.
There we go. So our opponent may be on just a classic elemental shaman instead, or maybe a bit of a bigger deck, but we kind of saw just how quickly we were able to turn the corner on a bit of a slower deck like that, even though we had, you know, probably one of the worst draws, at least for the first two turns that I can think of. Obviously we could have just drawn every high cost thing, but you know, having those earthen mites and those elemental reactions, cards that we have to rely on, I think, to, you know, do some work during the game, having them early, not so great. So we'll take a look at the deck. Ultimately, I wouldn't want to change anything. I think Dekkster has put together a fantastic list, and it shows, you know, they're playing this at Legend, presumably doing quite well. The cards that we were looking out for, like Cult Master definitely performed its job admirably, and we're not playing 2 or anything. I don't think it ever came up where we had the Cult Master and it was just a bad body on a board that doesn't look so good. We were very good at setting up a board and being able to reap the benefit from it. Doomhammer, Rockbiter weapon, fantastic. You know, I guess we never got a game where we had to use all the charges of our Doomhammer, but you know, we certainly had the card advantage that we could push through a lot of damage with that, you know, 10 damage every single time. Outside of that, the only other thing I'd want to experiment with is possibly getting the second Glacial Shard in here. I'm not too sure what we'd cut. It could be, you know, an Unbound Elemental. It could be maybe the Earth Shock, something like that. But for now, this is a fantastic deck. It's relatively budget as well. You know, we're looking at Electra as the only legendary. Does feel a bit necessary in this deck. But outside of that, you know, Doomhammer is a epic from Classic, so don't feel bad for crafting it. Thunderhead, if you've been buying a lot of Boomsday, you probably got 1 or 2 of these lying around. But yeah, I really like this deck. Big shout out to Vemerel for sharing the list. Big shout out to Dekkster for, of course, coming up with the list. And yeah, all the links down in the description if you're watching on YouTube, including link over to the Hearthstone deck article. Jump over there, give it a +1, leave a lovely thoughtful comment, as I know you will. And until next time, stay safe, stay wavy, Thunderstruck! Yeah, Thunderstruck! Bye. I hope you enjoyed that video. Check out other ones over here, or come subscribe to the Wave Pool for more excellent times.